Hey guys, I'm Kodi Quinlisk with Steel Green Manufacturing. In today's video, we're going to talk about the operation of our SGXL. Okay, so first thing we have is our key switch. So this is a key hot, meaning that the key has to be on for all of the switches and everything on the machine to have power. This here's your choke. So when you go to start the machine, you would pull the choke all the way out. Once the machine starts up, then you would slowly push the choke down, shutting it off. Here we have our speedometer with our battery voltage and our speed. There's going to be some other information over here as well. Here we have our engine RPM. With this machine, it does have a belt drive pump, so your engine RPM can dictate your spray pressure. So it's important if you're out spraying to keep your pressure or keep your RPMs all the way up. Moving over here, we have our HSA, which is our hillside assist. This is going to lock your front casters straight. That way when you're running hillsides, it keeps the machine on the hill. Here we have a switch for our LED light bar, and here we have our master pump switch. This is our hopper control. This will only be used if you're running our granular attachment kit. So on this machine, since it's all liquid, we will not be using that switch. Here we have our speed bar. This is fully adjustable, so you can set your driving speed based off your calibration. Once you get it where you want it, you can lock that back in. It's important that when you're driving the machine that you always hold on to the green bar. That's the only way to really stabilize your body. So it's just important for safety to be sure you have a hold of that. Moving on up here, we have our pressure control valves. So this is new in the aspect of it now has two different spray pressures. So you can put it up into the boom mode and set your pressure at say 40 PSI. Then you could put it in prime mode. That's going to open the valve all the way, giving you the most agitation, and it's going to prime all the air out of the system. Then you can also flip it down into the hose reel pressure, and you can set that at a different pressure, say 50 PSI. So now anytime you switch between using your boom and using your hose reel, it's just one quick flip of the switch, and it will remember what pressure you had it set at. Moving on up here, we have our boom lever controls. So this is going to raise and lower your booms on the left and on the right. Then we have the master boom switch, which is going to control all of your individual nozzles. So at the end of each pass, you will just turn the master boom switch on and off, and it will shut off whichever nozzles you have selected. Moving on over to this, we have our foam marker. This will control the left side, and then this will be the right side. So you can pick which side you want to drop foam. Important thing about your master boom switch is that this is going to power up your pressure control system. So if you're trying to set the pressure or agitate in your tanks, you're going to need to have all of these off, turn your master switch on, and now this will have power as well. So that pretty much concludes the operation and the dash of our SGXL. So here we have our boom in the transport position. So if we were going to go spray, we would remove that strap, put the boom up, and then with the key on, we'll be able to lower the boom down. There is a stop pin that's going to stop it when it's level. If for whatever reason, if you wanted to go below level, you can remove this pin, and that'll allow the boom to go down even further. One unique thing about our boom is that it is double breakaway. So if you were to run into something, it will pivot back this way, or if you were to back into something, it will pivot forward also. And there you're back in transport position. So here we have our foam marker switch, so you can select the left and the right. Down here we have another valve that if you have the granular attachment on it, you can move it to this side. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it drop foam directly underneath the center of the machine. So if you're out doing a granular application, a lot of times you want to throw back to the center of your tire tracks. This will leave you a nice foam drop there. When you turn it this way, you will have foam at each end of the boom. So that's where you can select your left and right side. As far as your consistency of foam, this is going to control the liquid going into the foam marker. So the more that you loosen this, the more often it's going to drop foam. So your foam drops will be closer together. If you close this down, then you can save on foam, but your drops are going to be further apart. So the SGXL is going to come standard with a 100-foot hose reel, and it'll also come with our hand boom nozzle on here, so it's a nice flat fan pattern. When you go to use the hose reel, you do have a shutoff valve here, so that's going to be off, and this is going to be on. Anytime you're not using the hose reel, you would want to shut this off, but you also have a reel lock back here, so you can unlock it, pull out as much hose as you need, and then you can flip this down, and it'll lock in when you're not wanting the hose to come off. So here we have our master tank shut off. So if you ever wanted to drain your tank, you could shut this valve off. You have a cam lock fitting here that quick connects, so you could undo this hose. And then once you get the hose unhooked, you could put a pan under here. You could open this valve back up and you could drain your tank right into a pan. All right guys, so now that we covered the rest of the operation of the SGXL, now we're gonna talk about the spray system. So some things to check right before you get ready to go spray. So on the SGXL, our main chemical filter is right here. There's one on each side of the machine. So each boom has its own filter. This is a 50 mesh screen. One unique advantage to the XL is the product isn't filtered until it goes out to the tips. So you'll be able to mix product up in your tank and you don't have to worry about plugging this filter up. So once we check that and make sure it's clean, we can put that back on. And then the next thing we need to do, we need to reference our spray chart here on the back of the knee pad. And we need to figure out what color tip we're wanting to run based off of what rate we're trying to apply. So this machine has 3 different options. It's going to come with green, which would be your 2-gallon tip, white, which is going to be your 1-gallon tip, and lavender, which would be your 1/3 of a gallon tip. So for this, we're going to use the lavender tip. And over here, you can just quickly twist the nozzle to change your rates depending on what rate you're wanting to spray at. So for this, we'll leave them on the lavender and you'll be good to go apply at 1/3 of a gallon per 1,000. All right, so one of the last parts of the operational video that I want to show you guys is our foot operated parking brake. So when this is down, it's going to lock up the brake so the machine's not going to move around on you. And when you get on the machine, you can raise that up and then now the machine will be able to drive. One of the other features that we have is our new fuse block. So it's going to have this cover on it. And what you'll see is with the key on, our fan comes on. If we remove that fuse, you're going to see that that light comes on right there. So it's going to quickly tell you if you have a fuse that's blown or if you have an issue somewhere. It's a quick diagnostic as to what's going on. All right, guys, that concludes today's video on the operation of our SGXL. If you have any questions, reach out to us on social media or our website at steelgreenmfg.com.